امروز ساعت 8:30 یک تیم تروریستی وابسته به صهیونیست با پوشش ارباب رجوع قصد ورود به دادگستری سیستان و بلوچستان زاهدان رو داشت که با هوشیاری عوامل انتظامی حاضر در صحنه و درگیری که ایجاد شد، خوشبختانه احدی از این تروریست‌ها در محل به هلاکت رسید و در پی نارنجکی که این نفر به داخل انداخت متاسفانه شاهد شهادت تعدادی ارباب رجوع از جمله یک بچه 1 ساله و یک مادر هستیم. در تعاقب همین درگیری، در تعقیبی که از سایر عناصر وابسته انجام شد، در خیابان مجاور خوشبختانه 2 نفر دیگه به هلاکت رسیدن و تیم الحمدلله در این لحظه که الان خدمت شما هستم منهدم شد و همه اعضا به درک واصل شدند.
Relentless rains are lashing across parts of India, flooding streets and causing severe waterlogging from capital city Delhi to Patna. Indian cities remain submerged after days of continuous rainfall. In Delhi, rainfall lashed several parts of the city, bringing relief from humidity but causing waterlogging in key areas. Frequent showers led to traffic disruptions and waterlogging on major roads. The water level in Yamuna River has risen to 204.14 meters, approaching the warning mark of 204.5 meters. Officials have warned that if the water continues to rise, Delhi could face a potential flood-like situation within the next 24 to 48 hours. In other parts of northern India, including Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district, heavy rainfall caused the collapse of an under-construction footbridge meant to connect the Suena and Nasu blocks. Weekend rains continue to batter the district. Parts of Ambala in Haryana are experiencing waterlogging due to recent heavy rainfall. Several areas, including streets and low-lying areas, have been submerged. Incessant rains in parts of Uttar Pradesh have led to a flood-like situation in that state. Cities like Prayagraj have witnessed severe waterlogging. People used boats for commuting as the streets remained flooded. People can be seen wading through knee-deep water as rainwater inundated their homes. State and national level disaster response forces continue to evacuate the residents. In eastern India, residents of Bihar faced similar challenges as rising water levels in River Ganga led to flooding in parts of Patna. Incessant rainfall submerged key roads and low-lying areas across the city. The Meteorological Department has issued an orange alert, urging preparedness for several districts across Bihar. Wary residents are now complaining about the current situation of the city.
Only bridges are being made in Patna. There's no emphasis being laid on the condition of roads. Everything from the junction to the streets is submerged under rainwater. The water is almost knee-deep, and in some places it's even waist-deep. The condition is deplorable. Monsoons expose the governments. The Bihar government must look into this. They always promise to improve, but nothing much happens. Please emphasize on improving the conditions.
And this morning, community members came together to clean up vandalism, spray painted on a church in South Austin. The church says their pride flag was torn down, and the message, "Pride was the first sin," was graffitied on the front of the building. But volunteers decided to change the message of hate into a mural.
So we're going to be painting today 2 trans-inclusive flags on either side of our doorway, as well as broken stained glass, because we believe that we are each broken pieces of stained glass that all come together to make a beautiful picture.
According to the church's pastor, this is not the first time the church has been vandalized. In a statement, he wrote, quote, "The outside of our building may have been damaged, but our spirit has not. Our commitment to love, justice, and inclusion only grows stronger, and our doors will remain open to anyone."
The Indian Army is continuing its counter-terrorism operations in Jammu and Kashmir for the 3rd straight day. At least 8 terrorists have been killed in 3 separate operations in the valley in a week. The Indian security forces killed 3 terrorists in Kulgam's Akal forest area. Operation Akal is being hailed as one of the largest counter-terrorism exercises of the year. Indian forces are carrying out intensive search operations as gunfire and blasts echoed through Kulgam's Hiri forests. Security forces have deployed helicopters and drones to locate other terrorists hiding in that area. A fierce gun battle remains underway between infiltrating terrorists and a joint team of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, the Army, and CRPF. While bodies of 2 terrorists have been recovered, the 3rd remains untraced as the gun battle continues. Security forces are deploying high-tech surveillance tools, including drones and thermal imaging, with elite para-special forces leading the ongoing operation. Many of the terrorists killed by the Indian Army have been linked to the Resistance Force, or Front, an offshoot of the banned Lashkar-e-Taiba, the group that claimed responsibility for the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. Operation Akal, the latest gun battle in Kulgam, comes days after Operation Mahadev, when 3 Pakistani Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists linked to the Pahalgam terror attack were gunned down in the Lidwas forest in Srinagar. Prior to that, security forces carried out Operation Shiv Shakti in the Poonch sector, killing 2 terrorists who were attempting to infiltrate across the line of control. Security forces remain on high alert as anti-terror operations intensify across the Union territory. Gunmen have kidnapped more than 50 people in northwest Nigeria in a mass abduction in Zamfara state. The attack targeted a remote village, an area long plagued by bandit gangs who loot, kidnap, and extort local communities. It's the first mass kidnapping in this area this year, but monitors say there's a growing trend of larger coordinated attacks across the region. The banditry crisis, which began over resource clashes, has now morphed into organized crime fueled by weak state control, arms trafficking, and a surge in extortion from farmers and miners. The escalating violence is deepening a hunger emergency, with farmers forced to flee their lands, made worse by climate stress and aid cuts. Security forces recently killed dozens of militants in a major operation, but the military remains overstretched. And with growing ties between bandit gangs and jihadist groups, the threat across northern Nigeria is only intensifying.
After the ugly incident last month when bandits in Zamfara killed 33 people they had kidnapped in February despite receiving ransom, they have struck again in the village of Sabon Garin Damri, the same Zamfara state, kidnapping about 50 people. The attack, reported by Private Conflict Monitoring Group for the United Nations, involved gunmen targeting rural communities, a common tactic in northwest Nigeria where banditry has evolved from land disputes between herders and farmers into organized crime. Despite the military efforts, it continues to gain momentum, partly due to ransom paid by families of kidnapped victims. Just 2 weeks ago, the Nigerian troops killed at least 95 members of an armed gang in a shootout and airstrike in the northwest state of Niger. The military action continues, but no end to the conflict in sight.
August 2nd, a symbolic date in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In Kinshasa, a ceremony dubbed Genocost Memorial Day, paying tribute to the millions of Congolese killed in conflicts tied to the exploitation of natural resources, brought together hundreds of people. Officials and prominent figures attended. Singer Enos B, rapper Yusufa, artist Verason, and influencer Diddy Stone. The tribute was organized by the National Reparations Fund for Victims.
Today
we're here to commemorate, to remember all those who were taken, all those who continue to bear the scars of these conflicts, and especially those who carried that burden. In the crowd, the faces were somber. A screening illustrated the scale of the violence. Survivors took the floor, their faces covered to protect their identities. When the war began in my village, there were many killings and atrocities. We were forced to flee to a neighboring village. In his speech, President Felix Tshisekedi called on the international community to recognize the Congolese genocide, a plea for truth, justice, and remembrance.
If
the world still hesitates to recognize this tragedy for what it is, a slow-moving genocide, we will not wait for others to validate our pain. We are the first witnesses. We will be the first to pursue justice. The ceremony concluded with the lighting of the Genocost flame, a symbol of remembrance and resistance, a light to honor the millions of victims and a call for urgent justice. To date, according to FONARIV, more than 700,000 victims have been pre-identified across the Congolese territory.